Yeah, so a big thanks to Maharashtra Ophthalmological Society for organizing such wonderful events and modules for learning and giving us this opportunity to speak on, health and wellness, right? These are the basically the talks that we are going to go through one by one. With that, let me give some disclaimers that this information provided here is not a replacement for any medical advice. This talk is about general health and not disease specific. So, anybody suffering from certain specific diseases, this is not the forum where we can guide you specifically. All references are listed, can be cross checked. Medical knowledge, we all know, is always evolving. We are only presenting and interpreting the data that is available currently, and we are always open to learn more. So suppose we ask somebody, what is exercise? Okay. Most people think of it as gym. Gym means exercise. The other spectrum is like, oh, walking is exercise. I go for a walk regularly. But many times what happens is the purpose of walking is what happens after the walk, something like this. So the whole purpose is kind of defeated. So I'm going to talk to you about how even without a gym, you can be slim and trim. So, what is fitness? If you look at these three people, okay, first of all, is any of this your goal? You see the diversity there. Look at the flexibility, look at the endurance, look at the muscles. Okay, if any of this is your goal, then this talk is clearly not for you. Okay, what I'm going to talk about is very simple things and इतने पैसे में दोस्त इतना ही मिलेगा आपको, इससे ज्यादा नहीं मिलने वाला, right? Now, when you think of designing a workout, one is I can give you, okay, Monday ko ye karo, Tuesday this, I can write it down for you, but I promise you it will not work. Okay, because first of all, we are not professional athletes. Let us understand that, nor will we get paid by anybody to look like this. This is not our profession. So, unless you are willing to operate holding a dumbbell in your hand, you can have, and I can only give you ways to empower yourself so you can be your own coach. Because what what I can do will not necessarily work for you. So you have to understand what is the science behind the exercises, and then you have to formulate your own workouts. And for that, the principles are known by this mnemonic FITT-VP. Now, what is that? F stands for frequency, how often you exercise. I is intensity, how hard you work. Time is how long you work. Type is what kind of exercise you do. Volume is the amount of work, and progression. So let us look at frequency. So for a beginner, you can start by working out 3 times a day. Okay, that should be sufficient. That much time you can take out. Eventually, you can work up to 4 to 5 days a week. And then subsequently, you can go up to 6 days a week. Remember, rest days are absolutely essential for muscle repair and growth. Only the higher elite athletes who have that right kind of coach backing and training and all may resort to daily frequency of exercise. But for most of us, we need to have that rest day. The next comes is intensity. Now, what is intensity? How do you grade it? There is a scale, RP scale, different kind of RP, not what we are used to. It is the rate of perceived exertion. This looks a little bit complicated. Let me simplify it. As a beginner, whenever you do an exercise, while doing the exercise, you should be able to hold a full conversation, but you should not be able to sing. Usually, when people are walking, they can sing and they can chat and they can do a lot of things. So that's like a very basic, too easy kind of a thing. You should be just able to hold a full conversation, not being comfortable. Next, you move on to a level where you're able to speak in short sentences only. And then finally, when you increase your scale further, intensity levels, you'll be able to say only a word or two. That is advanced. Not speaker call, we don't want to go there, right? So a simple thing. These are, sorry, that's not pull-ups, that should be push-ups. So push-ups you can do, for those who can't do regular or decline, you can do what are known as wall push-ups or incline push-ups. Slowly you can start increasing the slope and then you can go on to decline push-ups. That's a simple way of increasing the intensity. While doing this, if you are able to sing, then you have to go on to the next level. How much time are you supposed to exercise? Well, the recommended minimum per week is around 150 minutes of aerobic activity in a week. So that's like 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. and 2 times we have to do strength training exercises. Remember, this is the minimum. And longer doesn't necessarily mean better, because quality of your workout matters much more than how much you're working out. Then we come on to the type. There are four major types: the endurance, that is the cardiovascular exercises, strength training, flexibility, and balance. The fifth important pillar is recovery. Like I said, you have to give time for your body to recover. Although in my previous talk, I said muscles are built in the gym, the fact is they are broken down in gym, and it is the recovery period when the body actually builds them. So let's look at each one. When you talk of cardiovascular exercises, the first and the simplest thing that comes to mind is walking, because most of the everyone can do it, but it has to be fast paced. Okay, roughly 4.5 kilometers in 45 minutes. Everybody has these smart watches now. You can use them. They're very cheap and very reasonably reliable for such things. So you can start with that. But more importantly, what Dr. Rohit was also mentioning, you have to put it practically and involve walking into your daily lifestyle. That is the best you can do. So short distances, quit taking rickshaws or your car or your bikes or whatever. Just walk. Okay, do that. It's tough on Mumbai roads, I admit that, but try as much as possible. You can then move on to running. Of course, it's a more cardio intensive exercise, but grow slow and steady. Dr. Rohit was also told you have to keep monitoring. So, you know, there's nothing wrong in running marathons and ultra marathons. There are people who do that, but that need not be your goal all the time. It is equally good if you can do 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. You can slowly build it up. Don't look at marathon as your first target and start off. Slow and steady. Eventually, you will get to a certain extent. Swimming, if you have access, wonderful body exercise, full body, no pressure on joints or anything. That is something you can do. Cycling is also a wonderful exercise, but you have to do long distances, because the cycle is basically designed to reduce workload. So the more expensive is your cycle, the lesser workload you have to put into that. So our objective here is not to do long distances, it is to do more workouts. That is, you have to keep in mind. But it's a wonderful practical point where you can go cycling for short distances and do that. Okay. My favorite, of course, is trekking or hiking. It's a wonderful exercise. You're out in the nature, away from all this pollution and crowd. And if you have a wonderful group of friends like I have in, who are ophthalmologists, and we go regularly for trekking, it's a wonderful experience. Practically, Dr. Rohit also mentioned climbing stairs is an easy alternative. We can do it here during COVID. This was my ultimate workout. I used to just love going up and down in the staircase because there was nobody else to disturb. I can do currently 25 floors in 5 minutes. It's probably the lift takes me around 2 minutes if you include the waiting time and all that. Escalators initially, were made for the handicapped who couldn't climb stairs. What is the current situation? This is what it has come to, isn't it? Everybody, look at the picture on your right. There's only that 1% people who actually take the stairs. That's free workout for you. You don't have to pay anything, no gym, nothing required. They're just staring at you, come, use me. Okay, nobody wants to use that. You go to your airports, there is always an escalator and there is this staircase next to it. Use that staircase. You're carrying your trolleys, which now all have got wheels. Earlier, there used to be these trunks. Now people used to carry them and go. Carry your luggage. Carry it. It will give you strength training as well and endurance. Then, of course, there are all these typical exercise, high knees, skipping, jumping jacks, all these things you can add on to it. What about strength training? Okay, quite neglected. And when you talk of strength training, the image that comes to your mind is always these weights and pulleys and gyms and all these things. Well, you can use that whenever it's available, but you have this wonderful thing with you. You have your own body weight and you have gravity. This is your dumbbell or your barbell or whatever you call it, and these are your pulleys. And you can make use of this to build your own exercises. The four major muscle groups that you need to target: upper limbs, lower limbs, back, and your core. Okay, for lower limbs, which are the largest muscles of the body, squats, simple exercise, excellent. Just sit down, get up, sit down, get up. Your posture has to be proper. So while doing this, just don't just start out randomly. Take some guidance, look at videos if you want online, and get that posture right to avoid injuries. right? Upper limbs, there are multiple types of push-ups that you can keep doing, and excellent for upper body. You can, like I showed you in the previous slides also, you don't have to go for directly for the advanced push-ups. You can start with wall push-ups, slowly go to incline push-ups, then go on to regular push-ups. In regular push-ups, you can also do a knee push-up where your knees are resting on the floor, and then you can do that. So whatever level you are at right now, start with that and then slowly build it up, right? Core planks, amazing. This is my mother who's doing a straight arm plank. You can do a proper plank with your elbows resting on the floor. That is also done. The other are leg raise exercises. You can just raise your legs, bring them down. These are simple core exercises. For the back, pull-ups are excellent. You can keep doing that, but it's not easy for everybody to do that, in which case you can just do the dead hang, which is basically just take a rod and hang on to it, and that is one option you can do. For females, it is recommended you should be able to hold on to that for 60 seconds, sorry, 30 seconds at least, and males for 60 seconds. So you can slowly build up from 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever, to try and get to that level. It improves your hand grip as well, right? Then we move on to flexibility. So you can do all kinds of yogas and Pilates and stuff like that. That is one option. But you can also do simple exercises like, stretching while you are in your clinic or at your, working place. You can do all these things. Practically, traditional styles were there, which used to force us to sit down, to squat, to bend our knees and do all kinds of things, which are completely gone because of the luxury and the convenience that we now have. Simple things. If you're tying a shoelace, then do it in a manner that you ensure you're not bending your knees. So, this angle, don't try to bend your knees there. Try and bend down in a way that the knees are straight. Then you will realize how your back is flexible or not. So you incorporate these things. Balance is extremely important, especially for the elderly as they grow. And you can do all kinds of different kinds of balances which are there. But I'll tell you simple balance exercises that you can start. You can just lift your leg at 90 degrees, keep your hands apart, and hold on to that pose. Importantly, once you are confident enough, do it with eyes closed. So once your visual stimulus is gone, then it is entirely your body that takes over, and those you'll start feeling in your foot. You'll start feeling those small muscles start contracting, like it's nobody's business. We never use those muscles for exercise, and that is extremely important to prevent falls in elderly, especially the kind of roads and non-existent footpaths that we walk upon. It is extremely important to have a good balance. Practically, when you're wearing your shoes, where you can do it in such a way that you're balancing on one leg, and you can wear your socks and we can wear your shoes. These are small things that you can try and see if you can manage. So these are the different types of exercises. Some examples I'm giving here, but you get the concept right. You have your body weight and you have a gravity pulling you. You have to do anti-gravity things so that your muscles will get trained. Right? What about volume? Volume is nothing but the amount of repetitions you do multiplied by the sets that you do. So for beginner, you can maybe do 8 to 12 reps, 2 to 3 sets. These are just guidelines. You don't have to stick to this. You start with whatever level you are at, whatever level you are comfortable. See that it should exert you. It shouldn't be too easy. And it should not be something that you tire out so much that the next day you just don't want to get up. Okay. And progression is given a lot of importance. Trainers give a lot of this importance. You can do it by increasing the frequency, by intensity, time, volume, etc. But you have to be realistic. When do you progress? When all sets and repetitions are done properly for 2 consecutive sessions, only then you progress. Don't be in the, have that adrenaline rush and go for progression very fast, because then that can cause injuries and then you are set back by a week or 2 weeks again. So take it slow. When you're comfortable at a certain level, only then you progress further. So this was just a sample plan that you can do. You can mix your upper body, lower body, walking, HIIT, and all these things. You can do it. There are a lot of apps also available, which have a lot of free sets of exercises also given. So you can pick any of these, and if you want that kind of external motivation and support, right? So to conclude, you may dream anything, okay, but we have to keep our goals realistic. Okay, this is Dr. Mayur Morekar. His message, real, and he's been working out in the gym for a lot of years, and the results are obviously seen there. Real flex is about staying humble. It's about showing up at the gym day after day. It's about not using any supplements. So do what works for you. Consistency beats perfection every single time. It is important to do something every day rather than doing everything for a week and then quitting. Okay. And you don't need any fancy stuff to start exercising. You just need a system that you will not fail. Don't look at others. What's it in it for you? Okay. Every activity counts. You can do adventurous stuff. You can dance. MOS and of course BO as well have been doing such wonderful programs of cultural activities that are doing there, right? And it happens every year. Take part, dance, shake a leg. Just find your passion and you do whatever you want to do. Of course, the latest thing that they have added now is sports. So many sporting events were conducted by MOS this year. It was like an extravaganza in Navi Mumbai. I mean, it was wonderful to be part of all that. Just do any activity that you love. Current activity, if your current activity level is here, don't aim for something as high as that. Aim somewhere here first, slowly go on building up. Sitting is the new smoking, which means any exercise is better than none, because we have become so sedentary that these are the guidelines which have come up. Do something, actually do something. Anything is better. And being active for the rest of the day, as Rohit said, is as important as exercising in that 1 hour. So those who exercise for an hour and then are sitting the whole day don't get as much benefits, which is where that NEAT concept comes into play. Do your own activities. Maybe it's time to give the Kaam Wali Bai a chutti. That is what we are looking for, because convenience is actually killing us in more ways than once. We don't even go to the grocery store now to buy anything. So get up and get moving. The secret of getting ahead is getting started, right? So start your journey today. A big thanks to MOS for allowing us to conduct this session, and hope it was fruitful for everyone.